So first, I want to thank Bitush for pointing out how sanitation interacts with many sectors and many parts of the environment. And the SaniPath Exposure Assessment Tool focuses on how adults and children are exposed to fecal contamination in the environment through the different pathways shown here in this picture. I'm going to see if this, are you able to see my mouse? Maybe not.
Yes, we are.
You are? Ah, okay, good. Okay. So here we see multiple pathways: drinking water, surface water, open drains, public latrines, flood water, bathing water, raw produce that may be irrigated with wastewater, soil and sand, and street food. And all of these pathways are connected or linked to sanitation and fecal sludge management. And our understanding of these pathways is based on in-depth research that we've done in Ghana and other cities in the world where we've deployed this tool. The goals of the SaniPath tool are to assess public health risks related to poor sanitation and fecal sludge management, raise awareness about these risks among the various stakeholders. So I'm glad that Bitush pointed out that engagement with stakeholders is critical when you're doing these assessments, and then to help prioritize sanitation investments based on the exposures that pose the greatest risk. So you can pinpoint or focus your investments and your efforts on the places where you can have the greatest public health impact. Next slide, please. So in particular, our tool focuses not just on identifying all of the exposure pathways, as you see here on the top, but also on those environmental pathways that make the greatest contribution to total fecal exposure in the environment. So here on the top, you see 4 pathways, A, B, C, and D. And if you focus your interventions and your efforts on pathway A, you may see only a small change in total exposure to fecal contamination. Whereas if you are able to identify which pathways are the most important, like here, pathway B, and you focus your interventions and your efforts on mitigating that pathway, you're likely to see a much greater change in total exposure to fecal contamination. So we know it's not possible to intervene in all of the pathways, and the SaniPath tool helps you identify what pathways are in the particular neighborhood or city where you are working, and then helps you identify those major risk pathways where you should be focusing your efforts.